Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so awesome to be back with you. Well, welcome to Saturday. You know, on Saturdays, we have our Spiritualist class and Seance. And for those of you who are new here, first of all, welcome to the newbies. We've had a lot of new subscribers this last few weeks, and welcome to Spirit Channel. So every day at Spirit Channel, we have a little program. It's kind of like a routine we go through. So on Saturdays, we call this Spiritualist Saturday. And we usually do a little teaching from a spiritualist book or a psychic theme book. And then we have a little seance. And today we're continuing with reading Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. And we're in the chapter on the 8 Golden Keys of Knowledge. So we're going to do a little reading today, and then we'll talk about our seance. So stay here because we're going to have a seance after this, okay? So, in the last few weeks, we've been covering the 8 Golden Keys of Knowledge. We're now up to number 5, the 5th key of golden knowledge. Okay, so let's see what Sylvia says. Key number 5 is gratitude. Okay. Sylvia writes, gratitude is the 5th golden key of knowledge. I know that there have probably been times when you've wondered, what do I have to be grateful for? To come into this life and go through this hell. And even when the glass of life is half full, you can still feel empty. Yet this is such a dismal way to live. No matter what condition you're in, there's something to be grateful for, even if you don't see it now. As macabre as this may sound, even if you're dying, be grateful that your pain is coming to an end and that you're going home. And that is something worthwhile. Let's just pause there a second. Because, you know, I think Sylvia is really speaking the truth here. You know, so many times we get down here and we just say, this life sucks. Everything's terrible. Nothing's working. And I know because I get letters every day from so many people around the world. They say, Psychic Bob, you know, my life's terrible. What do I have to be happy for? And sometimes people write, say, Psychic Bob, I see you on TV or I see you on YouTube, and you're always so happy, you know. And people say, why are you happy? And, you know, the truth is I truly am happy. It's not an act. I am happy because I'm grateful. So this key of knowledge is one that really resonates with me because we have so many struggles. And if we can find something good, something to be grateful for, we're going to find joy ultimately. So Sylvia's right here. So don't get hateful. Be grateful. Have you ever heard that saying? Somebody told me that one. Don't be hateful, be grateful. All right. So Sylvia goes on and writes, health and prosperity are really what most of us need to be thankful for, especially in today's world. But it's not corny to say that we're grateful for blue skies, rainbows, and autumn leaves. For our loved ones, for our jobs, and for the roofs over our heads. I remember when I was working for the homeless in Los Angeles, and I got to talking to this woman who had come in for food. She mentioned how grateful she was for the good meal, but also for the fact that she was free and got to breathe in the fresh air. Now that's thankfulness we'd never suspect. Many years later, I had the chance to speak to a 70-year-old lady who had buried 4 sons and a husband. Yet instead of just giving up and going crazy, she joined an order of Carmelite nuns who helped out prisoners and taught children. She told me, I was so mad at God, and then I realized how grateful I was to experience this, so I could give hope and joy and explain my life to others to help them through their trials. That's what I call true gratitude. So let's just pause there a second. You know, I think that's amazing because like this lady, Sylvia says, you know, she could have just gotten bitter about life because she lost all her children and her husband. And instead she turned that into something amazing. There used to be a television minister years ago. I used to love Robert Schuller. He was really cool because he was a hip preacher. And he used to say a saying that I always loved. He said, turn your scars into stars. And I think that is really beautiful. And I think that's what Sylvia's saying here. You know, like this lady she met, she gave up, you know, being bitter to serve others in greater need. And I think that all of us, you know, if we're on the spiritual journey, we got to find gratitude. So I guess my challenge to you today is, what are you grateful for? Is there something, maybe just a little something, maybe just being able to breathe? You're grateful for that. You know, I've seen stories about over in China, because they're not regulating the pollution so well, people are wearing masks literally to breathe. They don't even get to see the sunlight because the pollution is blocking the air. And it's very sad. So like that lady, the other lady, the homeless, they said, I'm grateful that I can breathe every day. Wow. You know, I think there's so many times when I get caught up into, you know how we all get like that. Like, gee, I wish I had this, and why is my life like that? Instead, we got to stop and say, wow, let's be thankful. You know, I was looking at yesterday's video, by the way. If you didn't see yesterday's video, I had a fun time. I went out looking at Christmas decor and ornaments at Pier 1. And I'm not being endorsed by Pier 1, but I did have fun there. And, you know, somebody wrote me and said, Bob, you seem so grateful for the little things like the ornaments. And the truth is I am. I'm really grateful when I see beautiful things and get to, first of all, I have eyesight to see them. And I get the freedom to go and look at them and feel them. And, you know, I say to go shopping, you know, doesn't mean you have to spend a lot of money. I don't think I hardly spent any money yesterday, but I had a great time. And so getting out and enjoying being alive and being free, that's something we can all be grateful for. Now, I know somebody out there is going to write to me and say, well, Bob, I'm housebound, I'm paralyzed in a wheelchair, I can't go anywhere. But you know what? You can be free in your mind. Be grateful for the mind that can interface you with spirit, the mind that can open you to spiritual truth and reality. Be grateful if you can read a book. And if you're blind and can't read, at least you can nowadays get books on tape from libraries. Explore that. Find things to get into that you'll enjoy, and you'll discover gratitude. Well, guys, we're going to get ready now. I'm going to end it right there for today. But this is our book. I recommend you get it. Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. We're going to jump in here and do some trance channeling. Now, for those of you who are new here, trance channeling is where I put myself under a trance state and spirits temporarily come through to me. This is not possession. It's an agreement where their energies blend into mine and take temporary, and I emphasize with the capital T, temporary control over my body, my nervous system, and my mind. Channeling is not scary for me. It's actually very peaceful because I work with high-level beings. And when they come in, their energy, it just puts me into this place of euphoric peace, and I just fade away for a little while, and they come through. It's really like just taking a nap, you know. And then I wake up and found out amazing things have happened. So I invite you to gather around, and since you're here kind of virtually, but you're here in my home with me today, we're going to make a little circle. So I want you just to pull up your chair to your computer and know that you're part of our virtual home circle here. And we'll see what the spirit world has. I'm going to get my camera and stuff set up here for that. So give me just a minute. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. All right, well, we're going to bring the lights down. I like to channel in a darker environment. That's just me. Some mediums do it in full broad daylight. Doesn't matter. Each person's different. But I find that I have a better trance when I can just settle down a little quieter atmosphere. So we're going to turn down the light here. Ooh, it's kind of dark. Hopefully you can see me a little bit. And I'm going to go into trance. So I will see you when I get back. this is Fletcher here. It's so good to be back with all of you. Give us just a moment while we get control of the medium's vibration. Oh, there we go. Looks like we've got control over the body. Well, I've got to say to all of you out there, we're so glad that you took the time to gather here with us. When we have the spirit world come over, we like to have a little gathering with you, and it makes our hearts warm with glow, warm with joy and love, and it makes it glow when we can talk to you and have you be here. You know, it takes a lot of vibrational power for us to step down from the spirit world and take control of a physical body. But our medium here is so kind, and he likes to let us use his vocal cords and his nervous system that we might come here and be more present with you. Know that whenever you're sitting around your house, that if you want to talk to a spirit person, all you got to do is ask for it. Now, you might not feel us right away, but don't be too worried about that. In time, you'll pick up our presences. But what's important is that we all keep talking back and forth, one to the other. You talk to the spirit world, and the spirit world will be talking to you. Well, I got a few other people here who'll be wanting to speak to you. So this is Fletcher, stepping from the body now. Over and out. Good afternoon to each of you. I must echo Fletcher's sentiments that there is much soul glow here this afternoon. We of the spirit world can feel the vibration of those who are tuning in to our messages. When we come over from the spirit world, as Fletcher said, we must temporarily use a medium's body, and we take control. This is known as trance mediumship. And when I was a young man and attending spiritualist services and seances, I witnessed mediums going into trance, and I noticed spirits coming through them. I remember at the time as I would sit in the seance room, and this would occur, I could feel a subtle shift in the vibrational frequency in the room. We had no doubt that spirits were coming through. And so I hope today that you can feel our subtle vibrations, our emanations, even if you're tuning in electronically. We of the spirit world have a great interest in the electronic apparatuses of the world, for the electronics allow us not only to be more attuned to the earth energy, for we can pick up the wavelengths and hear what is being said around the world, but also it gives us a vehicle to travel on. Though I am coming to you now through an electronic medium, no pun intended, my dear, the medium and the medium are both electronical apparatuses. For example, the medium's body has a brain, and it is run through the electrical circuit of the nervous system. Likewise, the computer which you listen to this, or the telephone, is an electronic apparatus. And so, spirit is also an electronic vibration, but a frequency that is beyond normal earth vibrations. But this is why we must use a medium. We must step down our vibration and bring it into the atmosphere of your world. We find this easiest to do if we speak through another person. For the material body, for example, of our medium is here anchored in the material world. And so we can operate his vocal cords and his mouth, his lips, his jaw. It allows us to bring an impression upon the material plane. Were I to step out of this body and try to speak, you would hear nothing. My voice would be silent, for my natural frequency is beyond that of human hearing. Through using a medium, we are able to be present in a way that we cannot otherwise be present. Try to remember this, for those of you who have doubt about the spirit world. We do not so much require your belief. We only ask that you be open to our presence. You see, in the spiritualist movement, the saying that is often said, it is deeds, not creeds, that bring one to the spirit world. So if you're trying to do good with the best knowledge that you have, know that you will be in harmony with our world and with your higher self. Each human being consists of multiple selves. The lower self is your earthly self, the one that worries about being to work on time. The lower self worries about paying the bills. However, the higher self has none of these problems. The higher self is transcendent. The higher self knows that all things are in alignment with divine order. The higher self is the part that communes with the spirit world. The higher self is the part of you that sees beyond the temporary moment and knows what the future is. All humans are endowed with the lower self and the higher self. Unfortunately, in the world today, many humans attune only to the lower selves, thinking that this is all that there is. The rise of atheism, of disbelief, and of hostility towards spiritual truth are symptoms that the lower self is predominating in much of the world today. We of the spirit world come and do these visits with each of you in the hopes that we might help you to know that there is a higher self, another world. We hope that you will carry this little spark of wisdom and knowledge into your own worlds, and that throughout your lives you will be reminded, as well as remind others, that there is a spiritual reality. We invite you to join us on our mission of awakening to the world to the fact that there is a spirit world, as many on the earth have forgotten from whence they've come. Every human that walks on the earth has been a spirit in the spirit world, and has currently come to the earth encased in a body of flesh. The body of flesh, however, only reflects the material reality, and many humans get entrapped in the material mind known as the brain, and they forget that there is a consciousness that even supersedes the brain's consciousness. It is the higher self-knowledge. And in a person who is at peace with themselves and aligned, the higher self and the lower self merge in an energy pattern that brings harmony not only to the medium's life, but to those around the medium. Each of you have the potential to be a medium, to channel your higher self as well as the spirit world. Such is asking me to step from the body, says the medium's power is starting to wane. I do not wish to tax him, but let me leave you with the thought today that you are more than the material body. You are spirit soul, a very spark of infinite intelligence, and that this very day you are engaged in the opportunity to grow closer to the light and to bring those who struggle closer. Remember all that we have taught you today. My name is Alfred. Oh, there we go. I do think we're in the body now. Greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Oh, it's such a great joy for me whenever I have the opportunity to come through this medium to speak to all of you. I was listening to Alfred, and I must say he is telling you the truth. Humanity has forgotten who it is. The lower self across the earth seems to predominate. People live as if there is only one material life, and that is all. My dears, do not buy into the atheist lie that there is no eternal life. There is life, and it is eternal. The fact is, you do not remember that you've been to the earth before. Many of you are on your 6th and 7th and 8th lifetimes. Some of you, you've been here more than 100 times. Whether you've been here once or twice or 100 times, my dear, know that each time you come into the earth, the veil of forgetfulness is placed upon you. And that veil of forgetfulness does not permit you to remember all of your lives, where you've come from, or who you are. You take on your new identity by your current body and your current circumstances. But if you will but let yourself relax, you will start to discover that your very spirit within you is eternal. It is natural to humans to wonder about spirituality, but we see today on the earth many people trying to quash that discussion. Many people are trying to tell people you're nothing but molecules and you'll dissolve into dust when you die. Nothing could be further from the truth, my dear. Even in the height of my earthly sojourn and my arrogance and pomposity, and believe me, I had a lot of it in my life, even in those days I had the humility to know that there was a divine creator, a God, if you will, who guided me. I didn't always pay the kindness of lip service to him, nor did I do a lot of kindness to my fellow man. But I can say I did in my heart of hearts always know that there was a divine power that led the universe. Some of you today, excuse us, got to control the medium's body here. Some of you today wondered if there is eternal life. Might it help for me to remind you that when you go into your dreams, some of you remember being in heaven. Some of you have talked to angels. Some of you have talked even to me in your sleep. These are spiritual encounters, and if one studies one's dream life, one will come to understand the reality of the spirit world. The transition between your world and our world is a shift of vibration as well as a shift of consciousness. If you want to be in the spirit world, when it comes time for you to leave your natural body, your earthly body, your spirit body will slip from it like a hand from a glove, and the true you is like the hand inside of the glove. The glove will be cast aside, that is your worn-out body, but the true you will never die nor cease to exist. This is a great shock for many souls that first arrive in the spirit world, especially those of atheistic temperament. They say there is no God, there is no life after death. And when they die, we have to spend much time convincing them that they're truly dead, at least in the earthly sense. For the truth is no one really dies, and we try to explain that to them as well, which, oh my dear, creates a bit of confusion, I must say. But do you know that for those of you who studied the spiritual truths, study them now, share them with your neighbors, and someday when it's their time to cross to the spirit world, as well as your own, you will be so thankful, my dear, that you put the energy and the effort in to connecting to our world. For those who spend their lives hoping to connect with heaven when they die, they will find upon their death that they are greeted by beautiful beings of light, because they've spent their life wanting heaven. If you want heaven, you shall attain heaven. But if you don't want it, nobody will force you to go there either way. That's why we have so many earthbounds. A lot of souls not sure they want heaven, and they don't quite know how to do themselves, so they hang around the earth, and they make a general nuisance of themselves. This is why we who do the spirit rescue work are always very busy, for as the understanding of spiritual light is fading from the earth, more and more souls are becoming earthbound, trapped out of ignorance and fear. If you know spiritual truth in your heart, do not hesitate to share it with your neighbor if they are seeking knowledge. Now, we don't encourage you to be a zealot preaching in the streets. No, no, my dear, it's not what we're saying. We're saying that a lot of the world is ignorant to the fact of how to attain heaven. You attain heaven by wanting to be there, by keeping love in your heart, loving your neighbor and loving God. All of these things are just the little steps along the way. Oh, and it takes a lot of practice to develop spiritually. But if you work at it just a little bit every day, you should be much closer to heaven, my dears. Fletcher says our medium's power is starting to fade, and I do feel my own power starting to fade as well with it. But my dear, thank you so very much for receiving me. Try to remember that we of the spirit world are not far away. Reach to us, call to us, and we will help you. Oh my, it looks like the medium's power is starting to fade, and I'm starting to leave the body, and I shall return to the spirit world now. Thank you for calling upon me. I look forward to you. Tubies, I love to channel. Whenever I come back from channeling, I feel so uplifted, so good. And I hope that today's seance was a blessing for you as well. It's always amazing when the spirit people come through. If you've enjoyed today's program and want to learn more about my work as a psychic and channeling, you might want to pick up my book. I've got some glare here. Messages from Rose. I can't see it here. There you go. Messages from Rose. There's the title. Messages from Rose. You can get this over at my website at PsychicBob.com. The link will be in the info box below. And I hope that you'll check it out. It's a wonderful book. It tells about my early days as a psychic and a medium. And yeah, so you can pick up this published work of mine at my website, along with a bunch of other books there too. So check out my bookstore. Also, guys, let you know, tonight, it's either going to be later tonight or early tomorrow. We're going to have a new painting up, and I'm going to give you a sneak preview. It may not be on my site yet for a little while, but we're working on getting it up. But here is my newest painting. And this will be available a little later, either later tonight or early tomorrow. And it's called Bermuda Triangle. And it's an abstract sort of expressionist, surrealist sort of work, okay? Called Bermuda Triangle. And if you want to get the copy of that, I'm going to have free copy at my website at PsychicBob.com. So when you go over there, just scroll down through on the front page. After you enter the website, then there'll be a page. You'll see it if you scroll down through, and you can get this. It's available for a free download. This is a painting. It's actually painted on canvas board in acrylics, if you're curious about the medium. But it's done in canvas board with acrylics. It's titled Bermuda Triangle. So hopefully you'll enjoy this and add this to your art collection. Now, my paintings only stay up a week, so they're limited edition free prints. And you know, you could download this and print one out, frame it, give it to a friend. It's a wonderful housewarming gift. Put it in a little frame and give them a piece of artwork. Or just decorate your own home with my artworks. But I hope that you'll pop over there to PsychicBob.com and get your free copy. So there is one currently up right now, which is this week's painting, which is called Lunar Biomorph. I don't have that here. It's across the room. But go there, get that if you haven't done that. And then later tonight or early tomorrow, check back. And we'll have up this picture called Bermuda Triangle. So I hope you guys will check it out. Thank you for your wonderful support. So many of you say how much you love my art, and I'm always honored to share that with you. Well, guys, listen, keep it here at Spirit Channel. We got more coming. Tomorrow is, what's tomorrow? Sunday. Oh, that's right. Be here tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. We're going to do hang out with Psychic Bob. We'll do some readings. We'll talk about spiritual stuff. Be here 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. For those of you in Europe, that is midnight London time, 1 a.m. Paris time. So it's a little late for those in Europe, but a lot of you have been staying up late. We've been getting visitors on the show each week from England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. We've got people from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark as well. And a few other countries. Germany's been there, and France. So we're getting a great turnout. And I'd love to hang out with you guys tomorrow night and Sunday. So we'll do Psychic Bob Sunday Hangout. And I'm going to do little free psychic readings for you guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And thank you for being here. And please, I need your help. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, hit thumbs up, and listen, put comments in the box below. And tell me, who is your favorite spirit guide of the ones I channel? Do you like Fletcher? You like Rose? You like Alfred? Maybe you like all of them. Who's your favorite spirit guide that I channel? We'll see you back here tomorrow, guys. Until then, may all of you always blessed be. Love you guys. Blessed be.